Hello, welcome to another episode of our Over the Limit podcast. Today it's our race review of the 24 Hours of Daytona. Yeah, just freshly came off the plane. I just arrived in the hotel actually, not at home yet. I'm in Germany. I have to be on the simulator tomorrow. I think Dries has arrived home yesterday.
No, I landed this morning as well at
Oh,
8
true.
o'clock. 8
Right.
o'clock.
Yeah, I slept for 1 hour and a half on the plane, even though I took some melatonin stuff, but
Me and
probably
Robin,
not
we
as
actually had
well.
quite a good flight. I can show. We took a sleeping pill, but it's like these sleeping pills, and if you don't like my whole pulley is full of wine because if you don't fall asleep within a certain time, you you start to see some weird shit. And
You sure you took a sleeping pill?
yeah, and we were both looking at each other, and it was so funny. But then at the end, yeah, I slept like I don't know, 4 hours. I think it was a short flight because I flew through Canada, and it was only a 6 hour flight from Canada to here, so I could not sleep long. So
It's a bit rough because you have the 24-hour race where I all slept 1.5 hour maybe in total. Then you had one like normal night after the race, and then a night on the plane where you sleep 1.5 hours, and now you're in a completely different time zone. So it's like it's gonna be a rough week, I think.
yeah, it's especially. I mean, to fall asleep will not be difficult, but to get awake is always difficult. I find.
Yeah, me too. Going to America is easy. You go to bed early and then you wake up early, but at least you get your sleep. But coming here, you get tired in the evening and then you wake up at 2 at night and then you can't sleep until 5 and then you put your alarm to kind of stay in the time zone and then it's harder to come back, I find. But I know going to a high rocks training session here in Stuttgart tonight, so maybe
Man,
I
you
can stay a
can't
bit
shouldn't book
awake
me for
longer.
a fitness test after the 24 hours.
I went cycling yesterday.
I don't go to anything. I'm done with everything again. I don't do sports.
Greece is a bit down. But
Yeah,
yeah, let's see. We go to our race review. Like we always do after a race. It's called a race review. Um, yeah, we're tired. We're doing our best. So yeah, quick summary. Well, for those who didn't follow, I finally won my desired Rolex after many tries. And I think it's a special one for the podcast, I'd say, because we were both against each other in contention until pretty much the last, I don't know, 20 minutes.
hang on 1 second. Can you show your picture? Can you show your watch again?
I wanted to do it at the end, but yeah, here is the
1 minute.
famous Rolex.
I'll show you the same
Chris is
one.
going. Yeah, but you bought it. Yeah, well, Chris is gone. I still have to go to the shop to make it smaller. I don't know if you can see the Rolex 24-hour winner engraved in the back. Oh, I'm not a big watch guy. I always said a Rolex Daytona is a cool watch, but I don't want to buy one. I want to win one. So,
Yeah, never mind. I
yeah.
forgot the code or the safe. Never mind. But
My
indeed,
God.
I have the same watch because I just bought it. But
The one you bought in Hong Kong, or
no, not that one. No, I did buy in Macau some years ago. There was this underground market where you could buy a lot of shit, and it doesn't even exist anymore because last year I was in Macau and I said to Nella, I said let's go to the market, but it doesn't exist anymore. But anyway, yeah, can't show it.
so a race review. Dries qualified on pole position, or maybe you can you. We said we were going to talk about it together, but I think it's a bit difficult. You start your view on the race. You qualified on pole. You did I mean, pretty amazing first stint, which at that point I honestly thought we have no chance to win the race because I mean you do over 30 seconds in 1 hour, I think, or 2 hours, two stint, which we thought from okay, we don't have that pace. Yeah, maybe you can
Yeah,
tell us how it went from there.
it's a bit of a I mean, I don't speak about it yet. Let's say I don't want to speak about it yet. But yeah, it indeed all started well, and it was, was a good starting position. We were very happy with that. It was the first pole position of our program, which I think I'm pretty proud and happy about, that I could have been the first, that I'm the first guy who did that. And also just, it's more than I do, but when you're working with so many people and you're working with a big brand, to then see that it's actually improving and evolving, you get very happy and you get very into everything, and you try to get the best for everyone. So I was mainly happy for myself, for sure. I was happy, but I was even more happy for everybody who was working so hard, because I know how much effort there is going into everything, even though it's always difficult to see that from the outside. But then going through the race, yeah, the first stint was pretty good, even though I think everybody was taking it quite easy, including myself. But
We were not actually. I mean, I know you told me that on the phone yesterday, but we were literally at that point like, okay. I mean, before the race started, I was quite sure, okay, BMW is gonna be the favorite, and Acura is gonna be quick, and probably then it will be us. And then after the first stint, we were like, oh, jeez, like we were not we were not going all out, full risk in traffic. I mean, and I guess nobody was doing that in hour one, but besides that, we were like, Jesus, this is gonna be tough.
yeah, yeah. But then actually from that moment onwards, our race went a bit backwards. We kept losing our balance of the car. It just got worse throughout the race, especially the last two stints. The balance was really not nice to drive. I don't know why this happened. We have to, for sure look into everything, why this happened, but our car just got worse to drive, even though, yeah, indeed we were strong. Our high speed balance was strong. We had good, acceleration out of the corner, but in the corners, it was not super good. For sure not good enough. And this just got worse and worse, which didn't help. And then in the night, you guys actually were very strong, as so was the caddy. And we were actually, we were also pushing at that moment, like we did not have a lot more left.
We would have been strong in the night. That's what I expected. Because I mean, again, people thinking that we do something funny with tires to warm them up, or we have a special system or whatever, which is absolutely not the case. I think our car is just generally heating up or stressing the tire quicker. So I think we gained quite a bit on the outlet, but we can activate the tires quite a bit better. So that we were strong at night, but this for me was clear from the beginning. But did you guys actually? I never asked. Did you guys end up driving soft or medium at the night?
Medium. We never touched the soft. And
So
this is
we
also
planned to do it, but then we saw nobody doing it, and we were okay, and we always sticked with the medium actually.
yeah, it's also something which we did wrong. At the end of the day, we already drove the softs on the raw, and we should have also implemented some other things to try and get a bit of a read for ourselves. Because at the end we did not touch them during the race, and I think one or two guys tried them. One time the Acura tried, but he dropped after half a stint already again. So that was quite clear that wasn't gonna work. No, and then going into the morning, it was, we were looking good. We were still in the fight. We were always going to plan, and it's not. It's afterwards now it's shit because you do a perfect race. You do what you have got expected to do. Like you just stay out of trouble. You don't do anything wrong for 20 plus hours. And then, yeah, in the last hours, it just goes wrong. And not saying that, I would have won the race or we would have won the race with our two fingers in the nose, but I think it would have been a very nice fight. And I honestly think it could have been. Me personally thinking, if I know how the car was compared to beginning and also how it was when everything would work fine, it would have been very difficult to fight against us because we know we were strong.
No, I agree. But then for people not having seen the race, and I know you're not enjoying talking about it, and I know that sucks, but I know that people would like to hear it from you as well. What went wrong? Or what happened? Or what's your view on it?
Well, first of all, my view on it is I got in the car, second
Because
last.
yeah, second to last stint there was a restart, and it was four cars on the lead lap, which were the two Porsches, you and Acura.
Exactly. And after the second last stint going into it, it already felt quite bad, difficult. I had a very bad balance. I could not really do anything. I was locking up fronts the whole time. I could not find the sweet spot. I tried a lot of different things, but didn't work. But then even though I could still kind of keep up with you two guys, even though pulled away slightly, but then I could catch sometime depending on traffic. And if I really could get a clear lap, I could catch a bit, but it was very difficult for me. It was a very difficult stint. And then, we already had a bouncing issue. So what does that mean? Our car on high speed just started to purposing. Like it just starts to bounce on the front. It was already doing this slightly, but then I'm not sure if that is the reason why it then got worse, but talking to a lot of people, I indeed have had one small contact with a GT car, like 1 hour 20 before the end. In turn 6, I was at his door and he braked late and I was stay there, but should have gone in more. But I also was thinking, and then as soon as you start to think, it goes wrong. And then at the end of the day, he also just turned in. But I think there was also more from my side to prevent that. And then I'm not sure if that is the reason why it then got worse or not, because for me, it did not happen immediately after. It happened only a few laps after. But if it's because of that, maybe, probably, I mean, we don't know yet. We have to still investigate what or how. Me personally thinking, because it didn't happen immediately after, I would say 50-50, because otherwise I would have it already on the exact same straight again afterwards. But for sure, it doesn't help. And it's something which I could have, done differently. Yeah, and I think from there onwards, yeah, it was just very annoying. Something, which people, I mean, you did it in the past a lot, where you did the last stint, and where you get the privilege, don't call it, but normally when you feel good in the weekend and you know that you can do a good job, they let you do the end normally, because then you have to go out, and I felt good and I knew I was going to do the end, so I knew I was be fine. And I take it quite nice because I've been doing it since a lot of years now. Not saying anything wrong or why I did it, I don't know, but I've been doing it the last years, doing always the last stint, and I enjoy doing that, and I also feel like I'm quite good at it. And why I'm also not liking to talk about it is because I just feel I feel a lot of I feel like a lot of responsibility when you do the last stint. You do it well or you don't do it well. And I've been doing the whole race. I did well. I did one mistake where I did something wrong in the pit lane, and then you make not a small mistake, but it has such a big consequences. And then you basically, that's how I feel at least now, that you let down everyone, which It's maybe not the way to think about it, but that's a bit how I process my races, especially when you know that you have a shot of winning at it. Yeah, that's a bit my race. And then afterwards, I had this bouncing issue, and I could never really do anything anymore. I could somehow, I don't know how I did it. I stayed quite close to the guys in front, but I could never try. And then at the restart, it started to bounce so much that I just locked immediately, and then I had a small contact again, and then it just broke completely. What we could have done differently is to swap it already before, which at the end we are also investigating.
Yeah, this I didn't understand, but yeah, maybe they had a reason for that.
Well, I think it's still a thing which we have to talk about internally, because I think this should have been done and we could have done it as well. But at the end of the day, it didn't happen. And yeah, for me, it's just it will be a long process for me. But I mean, even though, in a few weeks' time we have another race and we have to go again. But for me, I'm quite harsh on myself, and I know I'm way too harsh on myself, even though it probably doesn't look like it from the outside. Like, probably everybody thinks I don't care or whatever, but that's not the case. And
No, but I mean, I know how it feels. I'm obviously older than you. I mean, same thing, Daytona, what year was it? Where the famous battle with Jamina. Also, I mean, after that, sleepless nights for a while because, to explain, I mean, not because I want to tell my story, but to explain to people listening, these these big races like Daytona, Le Mans, or Nürburgring, or Spa, they happen once a year. And let's say over a span of 10 years, how often do you get the chance to be in a position on a car which is quick enough for the win, which doesn't have a technical issue, where none of the drivers make a mistake? It doesn't happen very often. You get those chances a couple of times in your career. And if then you get one of those chances and you miss it for whatever reason, for if you lost the battle or you made a mistake or something else, I mean, yeah, it fucking hurts for a while because you had a chance lost. If yeah, Daytona especially, I've personally been close also a lot of times. So but I mean, it will not be the first, last time, and I'm sure you will get your chance as well. I mean, I know it hurts now, but yeah, that's
it's
the
racing.
only thing you can do is understand what happened. If it's your fault or not your fault doesn't matter, and move on.
No, it's true.
And
It's true, and it's if I would have done a shit weekend, then I would have you know done nothing at all during the whole race, and I would have maybe been feeling even worse. But I know I've done a good weekend. I did a good race. I know I did my part of what I had to do. But just, yeah, crazy how one little thing can influence a lot. But that's unfortunately how it works, and sometimes
that's what makes it so difficult to win these races, because it's 24 hours and one mistake and can be, sometimes you get away with it. Sometimes the one small mistake, yeah, the biggest consequences you can imagine. And that's what makes it tough, but also so rewarding to win these races.
And also, if I would have been racing, by myself, if I would be my own mechanic, my own engineer, and I would be driving 24 hours by myself, I would say, fuck off, I don't give a shit. But there are so many people as well working behind, and which is,
Yeah,
which I
I
enjoy,
know.
but I enjoy. If I would win a race tomorrow, I would be happy for myself, but I would enjoy it more for them even. But
Yeah, I know, but I mean, that's also part of it. They also trust you, and then you also have to think all the other times where you did bring it home. I mean, you're not a robot. Everybody, sometimes the teams also make a mistake and makes you lose the race. I mean, you win and you lose together.
that's true.
Way it is.
So yeah, that was my race. Then at the end, we changed the nose. I managed to still overtake the caddy for P4, and that was it.
Yeah, my race, I'll come back to it more in detail after, but before the race, not really sure what to expect or to feel. I didn't do much driving in the Roar or
No,
in
you did
practice
drive so
sessions.
much, huh?
The Roar, I did 1 time 3 runs, I think. And then at the race week, I did 1 long run of 18 laps because it was not on purpose. It was just circumstances and we had some technical issues. Luckily, I felt good in the car from the beginning, so I didn't have to worry too much about it, but you always, get a bit insecure if you don't drive much. But then we started the race. Yeah, like I said in the beginning, you guys were very quick. But then I really said to myself this year, like, it's typical Daytona. Like, Daytona is special in a way compared to other races. You always have the cautions where everything bunches up back together. And the rule of thumb, you say in the last like 4 to 6 hours, starts to be important. There's still going to be yellows, but it needs to be important. You need to start to think about your track position. You need to plan your strategy ahead with the last stops and so on. So there it starts to be important. And everything before that, it's easier when you run the race up front because you stay out of risk, but you need to stay out of trouble, keep your car in one piece. But that's what everybody says every year, and then you go racing, and then everybody gets excited, and if somebody's quicker than you, you want to follow, and things go to shit. I really told myself, look, okay, this year, do your job, be smart, and do what everybody's supposed to do. Yeah, first stint, went in the car, and actually I was in the lead, and I took it very easy. Because as well in Daytona is a special rule, you need to run high tire pressures because of the banking, depending on how much camber you drive. So the easier you drive, sometimes the better it goes. Because if not, you get your pressures even more higher and you lose even more grip. The lower your tire pressure, generally, the better until a certain level. So I was just taking it very easy and it went quite well and stayed in the lead, saved fuel, stayed out of trouble, all good. And then I went in for my second stint. It was horrendous. Like, this was actually a topic. After lap 5, my rear tires felt like they were gone. And I had vibrations, and I was like either I have a tire issue or I have pickup because it was at night. But then they at the yellow, they boxed me after 1 hour, and I got out of the car because of the driver change. You change tires most of the time. And I was like, fuck, you start to doubt, like, okay, maybe I'm not driving so well, or yeah, well, I mean, you don't know what happened. Nobody did. Was the tire looked okay? There was no pickup on, and nobody knew what happened. Okay, but then I don't know if this was the same for you guys, but we had that I think 3 or 4 times on both cars. Me 1 time, Nick had it 1 time, and Matt Campbell I think twice. Where for whatever reason we had a set of tires on the car and nothing would work, like zero. Like you would be half a second off the pace and have tire drag like hell and do the same thing as I done before. But yeah, I went back in the next stint, went back well again, and actually, Mathieu was leading, and I closed the gap to him. I just stayed behind, saved fuel, and everything. I mean, went well. We were always up in front. They had a lot of issues. We didn't have any penalties. We didn't have any contact. Nothing. And then yeah, the last hours came where it was always clear that Felipe would do the end of the race because he did it last year as well, where he won. And it was I knew we were in a contention to win, but I wasn't sure because I was expecting you, especially you, because I know you were the quickest on the car, and I thought, okay, it's gonna warm up. Then often sometimes it changes again. They said they're probably gonna be quick, and then we were all together at the restart. But then I think it was very close. I think pace-wise, the Acura, the BMW, and the Porsche were, I mean, look at the end, almost the same. So it came down to strategy. traffic as well. If you had traffic one time, bad traffic, track position, and I was a bit scared, worried because we had two cars in the game, and depending on the strategy, once we were ahead, once they were ahead, like yeah, I mean it's 25th of Daytona. I was scared for team orders, and then in the wrong way for us, let's say. So it was Felipe did the end, started third on the restart. Unfortunately, you had splitter issues, so he overtook you, and then he battled with Matt and overtook him, and we ended up winning. The Acura came close in the end, but yeah, it was nerve-wracking. I mean, you're probably not gonna like to hear it, but yeah, my side from the emotions have been quite close to win, not in general, but in GT, quite close a couple of times to win this race, but slipped away often in the last moment. And I remember we're sitting in the office with Nick Tandy, and for him as well, he now won all the 4 races. Our race is the first driver in history to do that. And we were so stressed that we said, okay, well, if we get this win, we're traded for 10 DNFs in the next 10 Daytonas, which are coming. So let's see if that's gonna come true. But I was sitting on the pit stand, like literally my fingers were shaking in the end because I know how you feel, and I've had that in Daytona once, and another time a little bit less, and I was like, if this one was gonna slip away again like this, I mean, I know how you feel. I would be feeling that or even worse, and I didn't want that. So luckily, it turned out all right. And yeah, for me, feel bad saying it because I know you're sad, but believe me, you'll
Yeah,
get
but
there
it's
one day.
your
It's a dream
race.
come true. I mean, I always said I wanted this Rolex. Never wanted to buy it. I wanted to earn it by winning the race. And looking back, I said it in an interview, as well. If I look back, and you'll do the same in 10 years, believe me. If I look back 10 years, I was dreaming of driving LMP1. It was back then. Now it's Hypercar, GTP, whatever you call it. And now I end up driving it for Porsche, one of the most, I think, iconic brands uh, there is to drive for. When I was doing IMSA, I was always dreaming of driving for Penske because it's the most iconic team in American sports car racing or American racing in general. Those chrome trailers. Now I sit in one of those cars. For me, the dream where I wanted to be, and then 3 months ago win the World Championship, and now win the 25th of Daytona. So I don't know what, why, or how, but the dreams seem to be coming true, which I'm very, very grateful for. And I know it's nice times now, but you always know as well that one day it's also going to be less nice times. So you try to enjoy it and be grateful for it. And yeah, 25th of Daytona is on the list. And there's one more big dream in my career which I want to achieve, which hopefully one day I'll manage. I hopefully have some years left to do it.
Well, I think it's you have a nice now you got a nice well, if you win the more you have the same as Nick, so I mean there are not so many drivers who can say this.
That's that's what I've been saying since 10 years. It would been my career dream is to win those 4 races. Now won the World Championship with it together as well. But yeah, let's see. At the moment, I'm happy with Daytona and with the championship last year. Don't want to get greedy neither. It's not that easy as that, especially Le Mans. But yeah, Le Mans is obviously a very, very big dream. But I'm happy now with what I've got, what I've been able, the chances that I've received, and I mean, it's not so also a reward of the work you put into it, but it's also a part of the luck which is given you. Let's say like that. So
That's
what
true. Fair.
But it's funny because coming to that point, funny enough, before the race, and it's part of another point, I was not so happy being in Daytona. I was happy to be at the race, but it was somehow, I don't know, I was a bit like saddish for whatever reason.
Sad.
Yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a personal thing, and I don't know why I speak about it in the podcast, but that's what we always did. But normally I don't remember how many years I'm used that Jacqueline and Emily were there. Now were not because Emily started to go to school. Yeah, I was a bit sad because of that, because I know that now they will be there less, and then I looked at my calendar and yeah, well, that's the other side of the glamour. Like I'm sitting here with the Rolex, one Daytona, but I haven't seen my daughter in 2 weeks, and instead of going home now today to celebrate with them, I'm sitting in Stuttgart because I have to be on the stint tomorrow. That's what sometimes people maybe don't
Yeah.
realize, and it's not complaining. It's part of the job, but that's, I mean, the less nice thing. And then I look at my calendar, like in February and March, and in March I'm home for 6 or 7 days so far, and it's a bit. I'm struggling a little bit to deal with that because I want to spend time with my daughter, obviously. And if you have a normal day-to-day job, you see each other every day in the evening.
Yeah, that's true.
And then she calls you, said, "Daddy, when you're coming home, I miss you." And I was struggling a bit with that in Daytona because especially last years they were there. And again, okay, I'm not the most social guy who goes out for dinner every evening with everybody. So I will, maybe it's
Did you
just a bit
actually once
lonely.
go for dinner or not?
A team dinner, right?
Yeah.
So, well, it's funny to see it in hindsight because then you're there and you're like, I mean, honestly, Saturday morning, I was like, "Yeah, okay, now's the race, 3 more days, and we go home." And I felt bad thinking like that because I'm fucking here doing this race, which I'm dreaming of to win. And then the thing is that once Saturday morning, the race got going. And it was like, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go racing. But the roar,
It
I mean,
takes so long.
somehow this year, it was like, fucking hell, it was so long. There's so many meetings and
Yeah.
being there and this and that. And for pretty much 7 days doing fuck all because then I drove like 3 times, whatever laps. That was it. And the rest of the time I was sitting there and went riding my bike and doing meetings and I couldn't even look really at data and stuff because I was almost not driving.
It
So
took
it
a
was
long
just a
time.
long way. Yeah, it was a long week this year.
No, this I agree as well. It was a very, very long time there. It felt very long. I'm also happy I'm home now. She just came home, so that's nice. But yeah, it took a very, very long 2 weeks. But yeah, or 1.5. But it's part of the game.
Yeah, I mean,
And the
it's a
weather
dream
was
to do
also
those races, but yeah, cold.
yeah, the weather was also quite cold, and yeah. Oh, well, at
One
least we
thing
have a
both
good
of us can
side.
be proud of is, I don't know who saw it on Twitter, there's like this, it's called Beat Pillar. They always do these rankings after a race, like what's it, your best 50% of your laps?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, 50%.
Yeah, and then they rank all the drivers, and you were quickest, and I was second quickest. So I was actually quite cool to see that list of both Vantors
That's
on
true.
top of a pretty much I mean, stellar driving. Everybody was there among the hypercar, GT, endurance drivers, whatever you want to call it.
That's true. I mean, at least I still gave you 2 10s. Something to sleep about. So at least I
I
can
admit it, I'm the second best Panther brother.
at least on pace. Maybe not on results, but on pace.
I wanted to make the joke, I'm the second best Panther brother, but I have a Rolex here, so it's fine.
Well, I have more.
I don't want to be too mean today because
Well, now at least you have a Rolex. Finally, it took you 36 years. No, but I mean, yeah, but you
yeah, it took
anyway.
me a while, but
No, not to win it, but you're not also not like a watch type of guy anyway. So you don't really care about those things.
well, I like it, but it's
Maybe that you
I
have one now, you
wouldn't.
can buy some, or you will buy some.
No, I'm And it's getting worse the older I get. The only thing I spend money on is my
Bikes.
cycling stuff, where, to be honest, 90% of it, I have sponsorship deals, so I don't even spend money on that anymore. And luxury stuff like clothing or watches,
Yeah.
even my phone, I have it since 3 years now. I don't know.
I did buy these headphones on the way to the airport because I was feeling bad and needed to buy something. So I immediately do. So I also bought one for Victoria.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had this when I was a bit younger on clothing, but watches I always have. I don't know why. Even now, it's getting worse.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's for me. It's more than a trophy. I'm going to a shop now when we
Hey,
finish,
it's
and
an
to make it
investment at the
smaller.
end of the day, you know. If you sell it,
Yeah, but
you
especially these ones, I don't want to tell the value of it on the podcast, but what I listen to, it's like times 5 of the normal value, times 4 of the normal
yeah.
value.
Is your name
And
on it
I'm
engraved as well?
no, not the name, but I'm honestly feel awkward wearing it if you think about that. Like I
That's why I
would rather
also
just
wouldn't
go
really
to a
wear
safe
it.
and put it inside. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna wear it. Maybe once a year on a super special occasion. Uh,
But you have two now. See, you can do one on each wrist, so you can set time.
no, actually, I mean, I don't want to start get cocky about this, but once for me, and then I said to Jacqueline and Emily, you guys can fight who gets this one, and I'll do my best to get the third one in the mall, and then we all have one.
Yeah. Well, it's at least it's funny future plans.
You have to tell us one story though. You will come to 2, 3 gossip points, and then I leave you with Victoria, and I get some lunch. You
Me?
did an amazing first stint,
Oh fuck.
and then you come to the pit lane, and well, everybody saw how you parked. I mean, you missed. I don't. You can explain it, but it looked like you missed your pit lane, which, to be fair, is very difficult in Daytona to see because it's
I
such a
hate it
huge pit
so
lane.
much. It's so
We were
shit.
the first pit lane, so we can the first pit block. But then, okay, you miss your. I have to look if I can put it on this video on YouTube. You miss your parking. You manage it at the last moment. You touch the wall a little bit, and then you get out. And you literally fall head first over the wall on, I don't know if you fell on your face or whatever. Actually, I asked Jill to make a reel about it because I wanted to post it, but then I was like, yeah, maybe it's too early.
I
Maybe in a
think it's
couple
too
days I will
early,
put
yeah,
it.
in a few weeks. But yeah, so we had no radio in my stint, in my second stint at least. Like I could barely understand them, and the spotter, I didn't even know he was there. Like it was very bad. And I was boxing, and I knew I'm not good at that. Like even with the GTs back in the day, I never managed to get it right at once. Like at once when I really have my spot, then I know. But
You considered glasses?
I wear my glasses when I'm driving at night. But anyway, um, yeah. So and then the sun was low. No joke, the sun was very low. So I did not see our blue board. So I was like, "Fuck, where is my stupid box?" And the guy was not seeing anything, and we have this counting down on the dash to like the meters to know when it's there.
Right?
I
Fair,
was looking at
fair
this
enough.
thing, and suddenly it was like at 20, and I was like, "Shit, this must be on my left." So I look left, and I saw my board, and I had turned hard left. But at that stage, I was going way too fast, and I wanted to go right, but then I was feeling I was gonna lock. So yeah, then I just had to stop, and then I touched the wall slightly. And then with all of that happening,
You really didn't like your splitter last weekend.
then my brain just completely turned off. I forgot to unplug my radio. I just went out. I forgot to take my insert out. And then I saw this wall, and I don't know what I thought. I just thought I just walked through it. But then I fell, and I fell with my hands and my head on the ground. Oh man, I was pissed. I was very pissed off then. I was a bit too pissed off, to be honest, because our radio issue we had already for a long time, already since the first test day in a row, and it still didn't work. So I was quite pissed. I was a bit too pissed, which is not good. I mean, need to get a bit better at that. But Yeah, I was a bit pissed after that. But yeah, that's the story. That's what, at least how it went through my head. But I think just my brain just shut it off at one stage when it came too much.
It was funny. You'll laugh about it one day.
One day, yeah. One day I'll laugh about it. Not today.
Oh well.
That was my gossip. I don't have more.
Any after race that anybody ended up in Lollipop?
No, I also did not.
Everybody.
I also didn't do anything. I just I went for dinner with Lelo and his well, not wife, girlfriend and daughter. Oh, actually, they had a funny story, which is a gossip actually. So we went for dinner with them and Robin. We went to Ronin. And then when they went to sleep in the morning, we went to have breakfast again with them. And apparently, in the night, somebody tried to come into their room from the balcony. Yeah, like, and he opened the balcony, like it was open, and he came into the room, and the police came. Everything was crazy.
But Daytona also has some sketchy.
Yeah, you need to watch out a bit
places.
too. Yeah, you need to.
I didn't do it. I went to. I mean, nowadays we spoke about last time with Mies. There is no. I mean, that episode still has to come out. But there is no parties anymore. And when we came back from the podium, I think half the people already left at Porsche. But I just drove to Tampa, had a nice pizza on my own, had three scoops of ice cream.
Fair enough.
But
That's nice how
I
you
did a nice
celebrate your
gesture.
race.
I did a nice gesture. I couldn't decide on which pizza I took, so I took two, and obviously didn't eat two pizzas, so I took two half. Then I put them in the box, and I went to a homeless guy in Tampa, and I gave him my pizza. He
Wow.
was stoned as fuck. I didn't know if he realized what it was, but at least it looked like he was eating it because I stood there and watched for a couple minutes.
He was like, "Oh,
So
thanks for the cake, man."
yeah, I'm not sure, but I thought, okay, I'm returning the goodwill to planet Earth after my
Fuck, you're
success
really
of the day.
becoming like a Hulu, or like a Honu Zulu. Fuck, you know, you just need
Yesterday I spent some,
a joint, and then you can go. You're completely in the group with giving.
has to do with a joint. I'm grateful for life.
Yeah, like that's how the like how those people called. They're like grateful. They give love and energy to people, but they take the energy and then they quickly take a thing of their cigarette and then
I think you're thinking about Bob Marley, but that's
yeah, probably.
anyway. I'm going
I'm
to
gonna
lunch.
go
I
into
have
the sofa.
sim tomorrow at Porsche. I'm really looking forward to. And then I'm going home. And then next week I'm coming back here for sim again.
Actually, I have to go next week as well to the sim.
I'm gonna find the wires and just cut them to
Well, we need a new one actually. So
we're getting a new one.
yeah, we
Apparently.
also need to get a new one. I hope it's coming next week. So then it's already no joking. But it should.
What's next for you then after?
Qatar. I just we have some tests planned, but then the race is Qatar.
You in Sebring testing?
Yeah, you as well.
Good. That's also in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. There.
2 weeks, I think. Yeah,
it's quite busy. Yeah, that's why I was a bit like it's from now till Le Mans. It's like
yeah, it's busy.
when you get your calendar in the winter, like it's okay, and then here's the sim dates, here's the rollout dates, here's the test dates, here's this. I'll do this GT race, and like, okay, that's full.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's a good fun.
Can't complain. That's what we want to do.
All right, I'm gonna go to bed in the sofa.
Yeah, I'm gonna get my watch and then have some lunch. And
all
thank
right,
you for the race review.
thank
See
you.
guys.
Ciao, ciao.